Hey everybody, and welcome to rabb1t's Ramblings, podcast 429. This time I have just sort of a small update about the current state of Destiny 2, and that's it for this time. Hopefully you'll enjoy the show.
Please, Robert is your uncle. Well said, chap. You're getting better at those.
So often in gaming, you will hear the term X killer. In this case, this would be a Destiny killer. And for the longest time, people have responded with the only people who are going to kill Destiny 2 is Bungie, because other games just really can't compete or haven't been able to compete or mostly just haven't even tried to compete in the same space. There have been plenty of very solid single-player shooters which have online components or co-op components, but nobody outside of First Descendant has really tried to tackle that sort of always online group play, solo playable sort of space that Destiny 2 is in. But I think it's finally at the point where Bungie is pretty much killing Destiny 2. As I said at the start of the new content, it's a really solid foundation they have with the new tiered loot system, but they're going about it all wrong. At this point, a lot of people are hitting 400 plus light, and the hard cap right now is 450. But apparently people who have done the math say it takes as long to get from 400 to 450 as it did to go from 10 when you start all the way up to 400. I don't know where they got that math or if that math is accurate. But for me, it took about 25 hours to do the campaign, and then from then until about light level 350, I was getting about 5 levels an hour, and then from 350 to 400, I was getting about 2.5 light levels an hour, and I hit 400 about a week prior to the recording of this. And since then, I've been probably averaging 1 light every 2 to 3 hours, which is just abysmally low. And apparently, it's not until you set the activity to 450 plus that you even have a chance to get regular tier 5 drops. And it's not until you get 450 light yourself that you will absolutely regularly get tier 5, and it's pretty much almost the only thing that drops. So at this point, I'm probably looking at a minimum of maybe 75 more hours to as much as 150 more hours on top of the 25 hours I played for the campaign and the probably 150 hours I've already spent. And at this point, I'm just like, no, I think I'm pretty much almost done with this. At this point, they've got until the 10th, well, actually until the 9th, and then I'll be done, probably. What they're facing right now, at the time this releases, is Destiny 2 Rising will have launched, which is a mobile game and it's a gacha game, and so most of the Destiny community might not be interested in it, but they did announce, I think about a week ago, that they have 10 million pre-registrations, which is an insane number. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those people were Destiny players, and they might just jump Destiny 2 and move over to the mobile game, because the rewards and leveling speed at the high end of Destiny 2 just is absolutely not at all worth your time. And for players who are like me, who aren't interested in Destiny Rising or, other mobile shooter type games, they're looking at facing off against Borderlands 4, starting on the 10th, I think it is. So I'm going to be like, nope, I'm done, bye. Because if the rewards don't improve, this is just, like I said, absolutely not worth the grind and my time. I just will not care at that point. I will probably log into Destiny 2 for a couple hours every week, because on Tuesday when they do the reset, if you play even just about an hour or so, you get some pretty decent rewards that will bump your power up quite a bit. So that would be, worth doing. But the grind after that just would not be worth it anymore. So they've got me until about the 10th when Borderlands 4 comes out. And if they don't make any good changes for the drop rate, and, future expansions don't change the drop rate, they're in for a world of hurt. And this is all on them. The entire community basically has been in a total uproar, especially all of the content creators, pointing out how terrible it is, how slow it is, and how nobody is enjoying that. And it's not a good way to run the game and reward the players. And they've said, we've heard your feedback. We're going to speed things up. And for the last 2 or 3 patches, they have absolutely not done that. And in this most recent one, they actually did the reverse of that and slowed things down even more. So, I don't know. This could be the end of Destiny if Bungie is not careful, because they have 2 very big competitors coming up, basically in the days just before this podcast and a little bit less than a week after this podcast comes out. And that's it. All of the attention is going to be elsewhere if they don't improve things before then. So I guess we'll see. We'll update people on what, if anything, happens, probably on the next podcast. But like I said, I fully expect that I will be moved to Borderlands 4 by then. Like I said, just a super quick, short update. That's pretty much all I have for this week. Like I said, I'm pretty certain Borderlands 4 is coming out on the 10th, and so I will have that, I think it's around a week before the next podcast is due. Maybe a little less, because I usually record on Wednesday or Thursday. But I'll hopefully have good things to say about that. Hopefully it won't just be, it's a new Borderlands game. Yeah, there's some new movement that Warframe has done for the last 10 years. Yeah, it's less childish humor, But, hopefully I'll have a lot more positive things to say than that. But hopefully that, at the very least. But I don't know what else I will talk about next time, other than, if Bungie continues to be stupid with Destiny 2, or maybe they do boost some changes and make it reasonable again. They are supposed to have a new content drop, so we'll see if that improves things or if it's just more of the same grind. I guess I had an okay time with my birthday, but every year I know less and less people in real life, for sure. I do know more people online this year than last year, but no gifts from anyone except for Dad, so that is to be expected, I suppose. It wasn't terrible. I didn't do anything really special or different. And that's all I have for this time. Like I said, I expect I'll talk about Borderlands 4 next time, and hopefully I'll see everybody then. Okay, thanks, bye.
You have been listening to Rabbit's Ramblings. If you would like to see the show notes or feed the bunny by sending a donation, You can find the show website at www.rabbit.com/podcast/rabbitsramblings.html. When you type Rabbit's Ramblings, don't use a space. If you would like to send me an email, you can do so at rabbit@rabbit.com. If you like my page, you can also post on Facebook at rabbit.com. You can follow me on YouTube at rabb1t's. I have a page on Patreon at www.patreon.com/rabbit, RABB1T. You can set up a monthly recurring subscription there at a price point of your choice. Be sure to put the number 1 in place of I anytime you type Rabbit. Rabbit's Ramblings is copyright Eric Stryker, using a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Derivatives License 2025.